Right now, you are using a broken metric to measure your worth. You are lying in the dark, scrolling through a 5-second video of someone else's life, and using it to judge the entirety of your own life. You see their perfect apartment, their curated travel highlights, their effortless success, and their flawless relationship. And then you look at your messy room, your uncertain career, and your quiet, complicated reality, and you feel a profound sense of failure. But you are committing a massive mathematical error. You are comparing your chaotic, unedited behind-the-scenes footage with someone else's highly polished, heavily edited director's cut. You are treating a carefully constructed digital mirage as if it were a baseline human reality. Imagine walking into a world-class art museum, stopping in front of a stunning, pristine portrait, and getting furious that your actual face doesn't look like oil paint. It sounds absurd, doesn't it? Yet, that is exactly what you do every time you scroll. Instagram and TikTok are not windows into reality. They are museums of curated identity. People do not post their panic attacks, their debt, their screaming arguments, or their quiet moments of crippling self-doubt. They post the trophy. When you benchmark your daily existence against their trophy room, you aren't participating in reality. You are volunteering to be haunted by a ghost. The ancient Stoic philosopher Seneca recognized this exact psychological sickness 2,000 years before the invention of the smartphone. He called the cure euthymia. Euthymia is a state of mind defined as knowing who you are and having total confidence in your own path, without being distracted by the endless tracks of those who are hopelessly lost running in circles around you. Seneca noted that most people do not actually know what they want. They simply look at what the person next to them is chasing, assume it must be valuable, and join the stampede. If you see 100 people running down a city street in a panic, your primal instinct is to sprint along with them. You don't stop to ask why. You just run. This is how modern society tricks you into adopting superficial benchmarks. You chase the corporate title, the luxury car, or the aesthetic lifestyle, not because they genuinely align with your soul, but because the crowd is running toward them. But chasing someone else's destination means that even if you win the race, you arrive at a home that doesn't fit you. True tranquility begins the moment you step out of the stampede. Let the crowd rush past and ask, where am I actually trying to go? We have been conditioned to use purely external, superficial markers to benchmark our lives, net worth, job titles, and relationship status. But external markers are inherently unstable. They can be wiped out in a single economic crash, a corporate layoff, or a sudden change of heart. If your identity is anchored entirely to what you own or how you are perceived, you are building your entire house on a landslide. The existentialists taught us that these societal markers are just a collective script designed to make life predictable. They are a default setting. But a default life is not a meaningful life. When you benchmark yourself against these superficial milestones, you reduce your unique, incredibly complex human existence down to a sterile checklist. You turn your life into a game of corporate optimization, but you are not a company to be optimized. You are a conscious being meant to be experienced. So, if we drop the curated reels and the superficial checklist, what do we actually benchmark our lives against? The answer is remarkably simple, yet brutally difficult. You benchmark your current self against your former self. There is only one person in the entire universe who shares your exact limitations, your unique trauma, your specific advantages, and your internal battles. And it isn't the person on your phone screen. It is the person you were 12 months ago. Are you handling your anxiety slightly better than you did last year? Are you a fraction more honest with yourself than you used to be? Have you learned to protect your peace of mind from things outside your control? That is the only data that matters. Comparing yourself to someone else is a mathematical lie because you do not start from the same baseline. But comparing yourself to your past self is pure, unadulterated truth. That is the only mirror that doesn't lie. Tonight, close the apps. Stop looking at the highlights of strangers who don't even know you exist. Stop punishing your reality for failing to match a milestone that was manufactured by a marketing team just to sell you things you don't need. The Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once observed that the ultimate form of despair is to choose to be someone other than yourself. When you build your life around external benchmarks, you are building a magnificent front door for other people to admire. While the rooms inside remain completely empty and dark, you do not need a grand sweeping architecture to justify your existence. You do not need to show proof of your progress to a digital crowd that forgets you the second they swipe to the next video. Unclench your mind from the crowd. When you lay your head on the pillow tonight, ask yourself a different kind of question. Not how far behind am I, but am I being decent to the life I actually have? If you made it through today, if you protected your integrity, if you took one small step toward clarity, you are winning a race that nobody else is running. Your life is not a corporate optimization problem to be solved. It is not a competition to be won. It is a path to be walked. Look down at your own feet. Trust your own pace. Find your euthymia. This is Neon Silence. Join the silence.